Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about presence. Energy presence, energy auras, how to build an energy presence, how to develop your presence, what is a presence. It's probably a term you've heard of. I assume you'd have a simple understanding of what a presence is, but in this video I'm really going to dive deep. I'm going to explain everything about presence. What makes a presence? Why do people have strong presence? Why do other people have weak presences? Like, why does a CEO and employee have two different presences? How can you tell when the CEO walks in the room? Like, how do some people just have that head turning presence? Do you know what I mean? So because I've studied this, I am an expert. I don't see anyone talk about this. So let's take it back a bit. Let's start from step one. So what is presence? So presence, I feel like there's a few terms you can use. I think the two terms I'll be switching between is presence and energy. It's essentially the same thing. So your presence is when you walk in a room, people already make assumptions about you before you even speak. Before you even speak a word, people have already made an assumption about who you are, what you're like, what your personality is like, and just your character, right? And why is that? Why, when we look at someone, before they even say a word, we've already made a judgment. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Everyone does it. But this is what happens. It's your presence or your energy will speak before you do. So as soon as you walk into a room, a job interview, a party, anywhere you are, your presence, your energy, your aura field speaks before you do. People will already get a vibe. Let's call it a vibe, a sensation, a judgment. Like they'll already kind of conceptualize the kind of person they think you are based on your presence. When you're at work or when you're at a job and the CEO walks in and like everyone's like, whoa, like the CEO's here, and they just have such a strong presence. Like you can see the power in their presence, right? But like, why can we see that? Why can I see how powerful you are? Just, you know, from your physical body. Because we're not really just seeing a physical body. We're always picking up people's energies. You know, aura fields, energy fields can go up to like meters wide, and every time you see someone or you're interacting with someone, your energy fields are interacting as well. So this is why you get the vibe. You know, when you get that gut feeling about someone and you're like, I don't know what it is, or they might not have done anything to you, but you're like, I don't know what it is about that person, but something's not right. It's because you're picking up on their energy field. Presence comes from a lot of things. Presence is a lot of things. So essentially your presence is built by every single thing that you do. And what I mean by this is your habits, your routines, what you drink, what you eat, the way you look after yourself, your clothes, your hair, your makeup, your skincare, your job, your money, your status. All those factors contribute to your presence. So when we look at people who have strong presence, when we look at CEOs, people who are at the top of their companies, entrepreneurs, celebrities, they have strong presence, right? When they walk anywhere, heads are turning. When they walk into a room, their presence commands respect, right? When your CEO walks in, everyone's respectful. Everyone says hello. It's like their presence just commands respect. And why is that? So I always say presence is about the details. It's always about the details, and it's always the things that people don't see. Everything that you do that no one sees adds to your presence. You know how you see people that just look like they have their shit together? They do. You know, you can't fake having that kind of presence. You can't fake having your shit together. And you see those people that look like they don't have their shit together? Yeah, it's because they don't, right? And if we actually look at the lifestyle and the habits and the energetics behind these two people, you've got this person that's got their shit together and you've got this person that doesn't, right? And very clearly, just distinguishing from their habits alone, we can see why. This one wakes up early in the morning, does their morning routine, has their vitamins, drinks their water, has a healthy breakfast, works out, goes to work. This person doesn't have a morning routine, rushes, is late, doesn't eat breakfast, and wears no makeup. Like, the separation is in everything that people don't see. So sometimes people try and fake having their shit together, and let me tell you now, you cannot fake having your shit together, okay? your energy doesn't lie. And if you're dealing with anyone intuitive, and I'm going to use myself as an example, I literally see right through people. Like, the people who pretend to have it all and have their shit figured out, I literally can see right through you. Like, I know it's fake. You're faking it. Like, it's not even something, I don't even need to have a conversation with you to know what kind of habits you have, if you're looking after yourself, if you eat well, if you are hydrated, if you know, have healthy habits, a good lifestyle, friends. Like, I can tell all of those traits and characteristics just by looking at you. Like, I literally do not need to have a conversation with you, and it's because it's in your energy. It's in your presence. So to build presence takes a while. I have built my own presence, and it's taken me a few years, but I think I would say within like a good year, I've really built my presence. And the reason why I built my presence is because at the time I was working as a retail manager. I started off as an assistant manager, and I'll never forget, we sat down one day, it was my area manager and my store manager and me, and we're having this meeting, and my area manager's like, Melise, you have no presence. When I walk into the store, I can't tell that you're the manager. And then she looks at my store manager and she asks me, when you walk into the store, how can you tell that he's the manager? And I was like, I don't know, like, it's just the way that he is. Like, there's nothing specific that he does that gives me manager vibes. Like, he just is. And she asked me multiple times, like, what is it? How can you tell? Like, how do you know that he's the manager? You know, what is it? And I literally didn't have an answer. I was stuttering. I was like, I don't know. Like, it's just, there is no words to describe it. Like, it's just him. Like, it's just the way he is. Like, he just looks like a manager, or he walks and talks like a manager. Like, I don't know. And ever since that conversation, she's really rooted this deep insecurity into me, which thankfully isn't an insecurity anymore. But at the time, I was like devoted to building my presence, to look like a manager, to act like a manager, to speak like a manager. And I quickly started to learn how to build presence, right? And mine was in the sense of being a manager and looking like a manager. You can literally do this for just your life in general. So your presence is so the way that you talk, what you say when you talk, your body language, like the kind of language that you use, your reaction. Like, there's so many factors. And a big one for me was the way I dressed, you know, how I interacted with my staff, what my boundaries were. Like, there's so many little detailed things. And I think looking back, if you were to ask me, you know, why I think my store manager had presence, I think a lot of it, you know, does come from his experience, his knowledge. And, you know, experience and knowledge also add to your presence as well, which is something I'll get into a little bit later. But that's what made him look like a manager. Because when you have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, it's like added, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like added to your aura. It's added to your presence. It's like I almost want to describe it as like a point system, right? The more you learn, the more you experience, the more you know, the more money, the more power you make. It's just like, you're just like accumulating this presence, right? And because he had been in the industry for a while, he knew how to manage. He knew what the job entailed. He knew about the company, the staff. He knew how to manage people. He like knew how to resolve conflict with customers and VM, and he knew all of that because he had the knowledge. And within learning all of that, it added to his presence. So when you walked in the store, you knew he was the manager. Why? Because he looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like he was in charge. He acted like he was in charge. And that's, you know, that's what I'm talking about. The body language, the way that you move, the way that you speak, the way that you interact with others. This is how you build presence. So what I did is I really started to look at the way I spoke to my staff. And I think a big one for me is because I was such a young manager. I was 21, I think. Everyone in my team was quite young as well. So they were like my friends. I related to them. I, you know, wanted to talk shit with them. I understood the language. Obviously I understand the generation because I'm a part of it. And I think for me to look like a manager, or, you know, be a manager, I had to really kind of distance myself and not be so much of a friend, but more of a manager. So it's like thinking, okay, I need to manage these people. We have tasks to do today. What needs to be done? How am I speaking to them? So the energy changed. It shifted. The reaction shifted. It was more, I'm your manager instead of I'm your friend. So the way I spoke was a big one. The way I dressed was a big one as well. Managers normally are not wearing the same uniform. There's always a slight deviation, I want to say, to their uniform, whether it was like not wearing the uniform at all, or like having like a blazer on over the uniform or something like that. And I had a lot of freedom with what I wore to work, as long as it was the brand. So I had a lot of freedom, or I could wear unbranded things. So I started to not stop wearing the uniform, but I started to just add. So it started with like not wearing all the uniform, but like adding a blazer, adding a jacket, wearing a different t-shirt, you know, little things like that, where it just kind of added a sense of manager. I'm a manager because I'm wearing a blazer. And I'm not saying that you have to wear a blazer to be a manager, but I understood the importance of appearance that was affecting my presence at the time. Started with small things like that, then maybe it was jewelry, then it was hair, then it was makeup. Like, how was I actually presenting myself? You know, I was coming to work, if I was late, no makeup, you know, not doing my hair properly. Like, it was little things like that. And then it's like, okay, getting ready for work every day, putting on a full face of makeup, doing my hair nice, making sure I smell nice, nice jewelry, like a nice matching outfit. Like, it was little things like that. And over time, I had really progressed to the point where at the end of my management role, customers can pick out when I'm a manager. They'd come to the register and be like, oh, you're the manager, right? Or, you know, it was little things like that. Or it was, we're at the registers and it's the way I'm speaking to my staff. Can I get you to do this, this, and this? Like, you know, they can tell by the way that I'm speaking, my interaction, that I'm the manager. And, you know, based off my employees' reaction, how are they responding to me? Is it, yeah, Mel, no worries? Or is it, you know, are they having a joke and having a laugh with me like we're friends? So little things like that, to the point where, yeah, if you walked into my store, you knew I was the manager. Why? Because of the way I dressed, the way I presented myself, the way I spoke, the way my body language. And then obviously I developed the experience. I developed the experience and the knowledge, so I looked like I knew what I was doing. You know when you walk in the store and you can tell, or just anywhere, you know when you can tell that someone's new? Because they're hesitant, they're shy, they're quiet, like they don't know what they're doing. It's the same sort of thing, but it's like, because I had the experience, I knew what I was doing. It was, you know, how quick I would walk, how fast I would move, how quickly I can jump onto the POS and put a transaction through, the way that I speak to customers, like a lot of language, communication, body language, like all that kind of stuff just really integrated. And I kind of lent into it. I loved it. I loved dressing up every day for work, putting on my little matching outfits. And, you know, because my team was so young, or a lot of, you know, around my age, like I developed when to snap into manager and when to snap into like, I'm here to support you, like more of a friend vibe. And I think that was really important as well, because what that does is that adds respect. So when I snap into my manager mode, they'll do anything that I say. It's little things like that that helped me develop my presence. And then what I did was, as I met everyone higher up, I used to have all the higher up managers, CEO, all the other store managers. I met everyone throughout my time at the company, and I would analyze them. I would study them and the way they spoke and their body language and what they wore. And it's honestly like, I can tell what kind of presence they have just from the way that I analyze you. And you can do this next time. This can be with anyone. This could be with your friends, family, or if you're out in public. You know, when you people watch, I need you to people watch, but like really in detail. Like, what are they wearing? Why do you think they chose to wear that? What's their body language like? How are they speaking? In their phone, are they making eye contact? Are they, you know, leading the conversation? You know, look at what they're actually doing. A lot of it is those little micro things that those micro details that no one really notices. So I started to study people and look at people and analyze and watch and observe. And something else that adds to your energy presence is knowledge, experience, and money. And so when I say CEO versus employee, why do they have different energy presence? Well, let's take a look at it. You've got the employee here who's just started, doesn't have enough knowledge or experience, same sort of characteristics, is shy, reserved, quiet, hesitant, just looks a little bit scared. You know, you can tell when someone's new, right? That energy of like, am I doing the wrong thing? Like, overly nice. And then you've got CEO, you've got all the experience, you've got all the knowledge, you've got the power, you've got the title, you've got the status, and then you've got the money, right? Money adds to your presence because money is power. People who are very successful, have a lot of money, think of billionaires, millionaires, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, they don't need to wear brand names to just have the energy that they're rich. I don't even know if this is making sense, but they've got such a strong energy presence because of how much money they have. They have so much presence because of how much money they have. Because money is power. How much experience and knowledge and just hands-on, how much experience and knowledge would they have to have that title, to have that status, to have that money, to have that power, like that, everything that they have done, everything that they've created, their businesses, like their staff, all of that adds to their presence. So that's why they're confident, they know what they're talking about, they're calm, they're collected, you know, they don't need to wear brand names, but they still invest in pieces of clothing that are good quality. It might not be from Kmart, it doesn't need to have a brand on it to be from Kmart, but the pieces that, the clothing that they invest in holds an energy presence, okay? Same thing with your clothes. Your clothes hold energy. And when people tell me that, you know, it's not worth buying designer because you're just paying for the logo, I agree to some extent, but also, when you buy designer items, they come with a certain energy. It comes with a certain presence. Like, think about the most expensive item you own. It could be a dress, a jacket, a belt, anything. When you put that on, like, how does that make you feel? You know, when I'm wearing like a really expensive bag or accessory or dress, like, it just, you know, you just feel good. Like, you just feel good. It just adds another, it's like energy is like layers, right? It just adds another depth, just like another layer of presence, right? And I'm not saying that you need to buy designer to have an energy presence. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that you can tell, if I buy a designer t-shirt with no logo, just a plain white t-shirt, and then I buy one from Kmart, I bet you're gonna be able to tell which one's which. Why? Because energy is not just the piece of clothing, it's the way that it's made, it's the factories, it's the branding that it goes through, it's, you know, like, every brand holds a certain energy. How they make their clothes, where they make their clothes, you know, the energy of the brand and what they represent. That your presence is in everything that you do, like, quite literally everything. I'm talking about what kind of phone you have, what kind of bed sheets you have, what kind of habits you have, what kind of makeup brands you have, what kind of skincare, brushes, clothing, where your clothes are from. Like, every single thing that you have, every single thing that you do adds to your energy presence. I'm not saying to go out and buy a designer t-shirt, but you can tell the difference. Why can you tell the difference? Because of how the t-shirt is made, where they source their materials from, how it's made in the factory, the branding. Like, you know, it doesn't have to have a logo on it, but just the branding on the back, okay? What the price is, the kind of store that it's sold in, the sales assistants, like the energy of the brand, everything, every single thing, every single detail of that t-shirt is included in the energy presence. So it might not have a logo on it, but it still carries the presence. And that's why you can tell the difference between a designer t-shirt and a Kmart t-shirt. So no, I'm not saying to go out and buy designer, but I am saying that there is a certain presence that it holds. Maybe you bought really expensive shoes. Like, you know what it feels like to wear shoes? Like, you feel cool, you feel good, like, you're like, fuck yeah, like, look at my fucking shoes. Like, you show everyone what shoes you're wearing, like, you're like, aren't they fucking cool? You know, it just gives you this different energy, just different vibe. I don't really know how to describe it, but if you have anything expensive, you know what I mean. Or like when you buy a new car. Cars have presence. Why? The brand, the kind of brand. Why is there a different energy presence in Toyota and BMW? Why do people want the BMW? Why? Because they want the status. BMW gives you status, right? Driving a BMW gives you status. Not saying that these arguments are true, but just in the general topic of what I'm talking about. European cars, luxury cars, are quote unquote give you more status. make people think that you have status because you drive a BMW, so you must have money and power. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but that's what I mean. And you know, when the richer you get, the more you invest in these brands like Rolls-Royce. Why is there a difference between Rolls-Royce and Toyota? The customer service of Rolls-Royce, the way the cars are made, the interior, literally the brand, how they market themselves, how they make the cars, the materials, the layout, the design, like all the energy and effort that goes into making a Rolls-Royce is why it has the presence it has. The price of a Rolls-Royce, that's why. And you know, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that any car is better than another. I'm just saying that it has a certain presence to it. That's why when someone pulls up in a Toyota versus a Rolls-Royce, there's just a different presence. I'm not saying that it's important. I'm not saying that you need to think it's important what car you drive. I'm just saying that there is a certain energy presence to it. And same thing with money. I'm not saying that you need to make a shit ton of money to have a presence. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that money adds to your presence. The more money you have, the more power you have, okay? It's a grain of salt. But that's what adds to your presence. So if you want to build your energy presence, start looking at the way you speak, the way you dress, your habits, all of them, all of your habits, the people you hang around, who you interact with, what you're consuming on social media, you know, how disciplined you are. Discipline's another great one, right? You can see how disciplined people are within their physical body. When you go to the gym and you see like this really fit, buff guy, you know, he's ripped, he's jacked. People who look like that are intimidating. And why are they intimidating? Because discipline is intimidating. You can see how much discipline they have based on what they look like. And discipline commands respect, because you can respect that person for being so disciplined, for looking like that. Same thing with businesses, relationships, whatever it might be. Discipline commands respect. And if you want to build a presence that commands respect, number one, you need to start respecting yourself. So number two, you need to look at, literally just do an audit on your life. But every single action, every single habit, every single behavior, every single pattern adds to your energy field. And I think the quickest way to add to your energy field is knowledge and experience. The more you know, the more knowledge you have, the more presence you have. This is why any expert in their field has a strong presence. Why? Because they know what the fuck they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. They're confident. They don't have to second guess themselves. It shows up in the way that they speak, in the way they act, in the way they move, in their body language. Start studying people. Start literally analyzing and observing people. This is exactly how I did it. And it's honestly fascinating. And it, you know, every single higher up management person I met, every single store manager, every single CEO, business owner, entrepreneur I've met, I've studied their presence. I think it's something obviously worth investing in, because your presence speaks before you do. People will already make an assumption about you before they even speak to you. Everyone you see online, everyone you see on social media, you meet a friend of a friend, you meet a guy out for a date, like you've already made an assumption about what they're going to be like based off the way that they present themselves, based on the way that you can read their energy, what their energy says. And people who, I'll actually dive into people who don't have strong presence, you know, you don't look after yourself. They probably abuse drugs or alcohol, don't exercise, eat processed junk food, don't drink any water, don't take vitamins, don't get out in the sun, don't hang around negative toxic people, work a job they hate. Like all that negativity is literally, again, adding to your presence. It's adding to your presence. And this is why when I show photos of me before and after my transformation for my mindset, yes, I look different because I've changed my hair color and I've grown up a bit, but the presence, sorry, my doorbell's going off, but the presence in each photo is completely different. And I'm going to show you an example, because when I look at, it's not even about the physical for me. It's not even about what I used to look like. It's about the presence I now carry because of what I do and how I hold myself and my habits and my lifestyle. That's what the difference is, and that's why I have such a strong presence. My Instagram, so you can have a look, but it's this one here. It's the power of your environment. Me, little pipsqueak. From this photo alone, if you didn't know me and you had a look at this photo alone, if I had a look at that girl, I would say she's shy, she's reserved, she's not confident. Like, look at the way I'm sitting. Like, I'm slouched, I have my hands like this, my facial expression, the bags under my eyes, you know, my hair color. Like, it's literally everything. And then it's not the best photo, but me now, we're giving slay. She's confident. She's confident. Like, look at her. She's showing off. Like, she gives no fucks. You know, like, those two photos have such different presence about them. And, you know, I'm not saying that you need to dress up and have makeup and hair and outfit to have a presence. But I am saying that it does contribute. And I'm not saying it has to be every day. But when I look at me and when I look at other people in my life, there is a reason why I have such a strong presence. And it's because of every single thing I do to myself, for myself, the effort I put into myself. Like, when I go out to meet friends, I always put effort into what I look like. Not because I care about what people think about me and their assumption, but because it's the way that I hold myself. It's, you know, I don't know, it's the details, it's the small details. And I look very put together. Why? Because I am put together. My life is put together. Yes, I have moments, and yes, I've had ups and downs, but overall, the amount of energy and effort I put into myself is reflected back in my energy presence. And again, it comes across the way I speak to people, the way I interact. You know, this is what my presence is, you know. Even like, let's do like subtle body language, right? If I was to sit here and like talk to you like this and like say things like this and like keep my head down and like play with my nails and like not really look at the camera, like, would you think I'm confident? No. You know, it could even be like my jacket's zipped up, or like I'm sitting like this and I'm just like looking around, like just whatever. Like, would you think I'm confident and then I know what I'm talking about? No. I'm up. I'm here. I'm speaking with my hands. I'm passionate. I'm looking right into the camera. I'm confident in everything that I say. You know, my shoulder's back. My head is up. Like, those subtle differences make such a big difference. And if you want to appear more confident, be more confident, have a stronger presence, like, watch the way that you walk into rooms. When you go out for dinner, when you go out with your friends, whenever you're in a public space, I want you to, firstly, what are you wearing? Why are you wearing that? What message does that send to people? What kind of energy are people going to pick up on? You know, if someone's wearing all black or all white, you know, we've got color theory as well. It's not that you need to know this stuff, but like, look at your outfit. Why do you want to wear that? Like, just start to ask yourself, like, what kind of presence does this give? When someone's in a, you know, corporate outfit, what do you assume? That they're working office job, they're corporate, you know, marketing, finance, lawyer, whatever it might be. And then when they're in activewear, it's fitness, it's lifestyle, it's, you know, Pilates. Like, you know, your clothing has a lot of presence with it. The easiest one is appearance. It's the easiest one to add to your presence. So you can start with that. Start with the details. It's what color my nails are, the shape of my nails, if I'm wearing any jewelry, what kind of jewelry that I wear, why do I wear this kind of jewelry, the way that I've slicked my hair back, the kind of makeup look that I've done, the makeup products that I use, you know, all these little things add to my presence. So start thinking about the details, start thinking about the micro things. Everything that you do that no one sees adds to your presence. So if you're gonna sit there and think that people can't tell if you have a bad lifestyle, bad habits, and are not looking after yourself, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. And people can definitely see straight through that, and I'm one of them. Even like your beliefs and your mindset is included in your presence as well. What you believe and your mindset, because a lot of people I know are confident, but they're secretly insecure. And I can see that. Like, I can literally see everything. So you can't hide, you can't fake. So start working on yourself. Let's start developing your presence. Pick one area you want to develop and let's stick with it. And I promise you, like, you will develop a presence. Start analyzing people. See why they are the way they are, why they choose the things they choose, why they do the things they do. You know, your career, what kind of job you have, that adds to your presence as well. Literally, like, every single thing adds to your presence. So something to think about. Hopefully a new perspective that you've actually never heard of, because I've never heard anyone talk about this before. And let me know how you go. Let me know how you go. And if you're watching this video and you want to develop like a high value woman presence, mindset and energy, this is exactly what I teach in my free masterclass, Becoming High Value. And honestly, this is what I teach. It's the mindset, it's the presence, it's the energy of a high value woman. Because a high value woman doesn't have a certain look, or she doesn't wear, you know, certain clothes or anything like that, but she does carry the presence, right? You can be a high value woman and still be in hoodies and trackies, okay? So if you're interested, the link is in my YouTube bio, but it's also in my Instagram as well, my TikTok, so you can find me there. Follow me on all my socials, is Mindset with Melise, and then my other socials, TikTok and YouTube, are just Melise Camilleri. So follow me on there, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm so happy to answer. And if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.